everybody, it's Kathi Ondus with Simply Kards by Kathi, and I'm here with you today for Create to Connect. If you're joining us, the team is made up of myself and Pat Fairless from Fairless Stampin Flair, and each week we bring you a new technique or something creative that try to get you to connect with us and other crafters and stampers, so that you may learn some new techniques and be inspired to use them. So July is World Watercolor Month, and last week Pat showed us how to spritz and stamp. Well, today I'm going to show you how to use pastels for watercoloring. And this is a short video where we show you the technique more than how to make the card, but then I will show you a card at the end that had used that technique. So I hope you'll hang with me for about 10-15 minutes, and we're going to get started with our watercoloring. I'm going to switch the camera down, and let's get started. So today I'm going to use the Harvest Hello stamp set, and we're just going to do this floral image here. Now, when you're watercoloring, couple things. You typically is recommended to use StazOn ink, and Stampin' Up! Does sell it in the jet black, and I also believe it's in saddle brown is the name. So I am going to stamp with StazOn today. You use StazOn when you're watercoloring because it won't run. Now you can also use, if you want to do a no line technique or just a fader outlined image, you can use your regular stamp pads, our classic stamp pads, because they are water-based. When watercoloring, two types of papers. One is shimmer white. It accepts the watercoloring actually quite well. And I want to grab our fluid watercolor paper, which I've been using a lot of lately. Stampin' Up! Sells this, and it comes in a 5x7 sheet, and you can cut it as you need it. This is really great for watercoloring also. I do like to use both of them. You don't want to use your regular basic white or basic white thick. It tends to pill and kind of wear away. So we're going to go over some stamping techniques for watercoloring as we go along. So first thing I'm going to do is stamp my image with the StazOn so that I can let it dry for just a few minutes. And my pooch is coming over here as I'm stamping, so let's hope he doesn't put his paws up here on the table or the desk. All right, so this is a cling stamp, so I'm just going to give it a good press. Don't rock it, and just pick up. And I'm really happy with that image. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute and let that dry. The one thing when you do use StazOn, you want to clean the ink off fairly quickly because it does stain. And there is StazOn cleaner. It's here somewhere. It says StazOn on it, and it has like a pad that you use, and it really takes the ink off well. I do clean my StazOn off right away, so it doesn't affect my stamps. And I often use what you see me using as a microfiber cloth. And then I also am going to just spritz it with my regular Stampin' Up! Mist and get that cleaner off, make sure my stamp is ready. All right, we're going to start. So you don't need a lot to do this. I have this like little child's egg crate water for watercoloring. I kind of keep it here as I need it to clean the brush. We're going to use our pastels by Stampin' Up! And you can see the different colors, which are great for the florals. And I'm going to bring out a block. You can use the chalks in a couple different ways. You can, and I'm just going to show you for one, you can go ahead and color in and wet your brush. This is a water painter. They're sold by Stampin' Up! In a set of 3. And then just pull that color through. Okay, that's one way to do it. Some people will take just their painter and actually run it along one side of the chalk to pick it up. I tend not to do that. What I like to do is either color it like you saw, or I use the spatula part of my pick tool and I scrape the color off. And I just scrape it from one side. And then all I have to do is take a drop of water, and you can do it right from your water painter. And you just get it wet and mix it up so that you have watercolors. And it really does mix well. So when I paint watercolor paint, I pull my color through. I don't go back and forth on the paper like this because it can cause pilling and for the paper to get too wet. So I just pull my color through. If I want the color a little lighter, I add just a little bit more water or squeeze it from my painter, which I've been using a lot, and it's not squeezing the water out as well as I'd like. But so I add a little water and it just kind of thins it down. I turn my paper as I work and I just kind of pull that color through. As you go out towards the edge, it does lighten up. With this, and I try to keep the darker part towards the inside. And now I'm going to bring this out more here. It's good to keep a paper towel by you because you can wipe some of the water and the color off. And you can see the StazOn doesn't run. Now on this one, I'm going to go ahead and do dark on the inside. And I'm just going to go around several of them. Then I'm going to wet this down even more, kind of wipe some color off and get a lighter just on the tips. So it's pretty quick to do. I love coloring. So the watercoloring is actually one of my favorite ways with chalks and the inks to do this. But there are many ways, and we'll be bringing more of those to you as we go through July, specifically since it is World Watercolor Month. Okay, let's go ahead and do this other one because I want to show you how easy it is to move between colors and even add some color. I hope you're enjoying the Connect to Create. Now I'm just going to wet that, and I just keep wiping my brush until it's clean, which is primarily what I use the water for. And I'm going to go ahead and use my microfiber cloth to wipe that up. And let's go on now to, we're going to use some Calypso Coral. And I'm just going to go ahead and gently pull that off, and let's wet that. Okay, so I'm going to give these an orange center. Not something you'd usually see, but I just really like the Calypso Coral. So sometimes I try to find a way to use it. Now, if you want to add a little bit of color just to the edges, like the inside edge of the leaves, you can do that. But wait until it dries. This was the first flower I did, and I can see it's drying. So we're going to do that. And now I'm going to spritz this here and clean my black off. And let's do our green. And this is Granny Apple green. So just gonna, you can see it works really well to just scrape that off. Okay, let's bring in the green for this. And you can make the colors as light and as dark as you want. I lightened this up with adding more water to it. And you can see, or maybe you can't, but as I'm painting, I am not putting any pressure on my water painter, simply because I don't want that extra water. I don't want it to get, I don't know, mushy or wet and pill. So just adding a little bit. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do with this is take my darker green and add some of that, because I want to have a couple different colors on the leaves. So just going to go ahead in here. And these leaves are going to be darker. This is Mossy Meadow, I believe. Let's get these leaves in here. Okay. And let's finish up. We're going to add, I'm going to clean this off so my colors don't get mixed up. Let's add some Gorgeous Grape. You can see it doesn't take a lot to get your water painting ready. So I'm just going to go in here where these little, I'm going to call them little dots for the flowers are, and just add my Gorgeous Grape. And then I'm going to take a little bit more Calypso Coral right there. It's about all I'm going to need. Now this one's going to come out hopefully pretty dark. And I'm just going to do the tips of these flowers right here. And I do clean off my brush, and now I'm going to go back in where I missed these and just add a little bit of Gorgeous Grape. So there's our image, or watercoloring with chalks or pastels. Let me move this out of the way and bring this up closer, and hopefully you can see it. Now I don't know if you can see with the sparkle in the shimmer white paper, but that's our image, and let me show it to you in a card. This card was done with the Hello Harvest set, and these are even chalks on this embossed piece. I used the fall leaves embossing folder, and I just used Daubers, and I put some on the chalk on my daubers and just daubed the areas to give it some color. But the pumpkin and the flowers are all watercolored with chalks. So that's how you can use your pastels to watercolor your projects. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Join us again next Thursday at 10, and we'll have some more watercoloring tips for you. You have a great day, and Pat and I hope